schemes or formations for Brantley that's kind of geared towards strengths that maybe the line is having trouble adjusting to because they've never done it before?
No. I mean, lines, you know, we block zone schemes, gap schemes, man schemes. Those are the same whether you're in a, you know, a two-back, one-back. There's only so many schemes in football, and we have them all, and they're comfortable with all of them.
Does it seem to you that they're more comfortable when they're in a single wing? Is that something that maybe because they're used to doing?
No.
That they'd be able to execute better?
No, they execute fine. Yeah, they execute well. Gap schemes, zone schemes, man schemes. Those are the same schemes in every and it doesn't matter what offense you talk about. They're all, you either have a zone scheme, you have a gap scheme, you have a man scheme. We employ all three of them. We utilize all three of them. We utilize them in all kinds of formations, whether, you know, Johnny's in there quarterback or Trey's in there quarterback, they're all used. So, no, it's the same schemes.
Hey Steve, as you started to look at, you know, some of the stuff on film, what do you think's been happening with the offensive line? I know there's been some missed assignments and things like that. As you've done more of an in-depth review, what have you seen as some of the mistakes? I
mean, there's not more mistakes than there's ever been. It's pretty much where it's, you know, you're going to get X amount of what we call MAs in the course of the game. There's not been more now than there's ever been before. It's kind of where it is.
So how about the reason for more sacks this year? Is that just
all sacks don't revolve around the offensive line.
Okay.
Okay.
What else?
There's a lot of components that go into sacks. An offensive line can create a sack with something missed. If it's a 5-man protection, they can overload you by 1. If it's a 6-man protection, there's a back involved as well. Okay. If there's a 7-man protection, there's 2 backs involved. So, you know, we'd actually been very good in sacks, actually low and down going into the last game. Okay, and so, you know, I know that's, people say, well, right away, if there's a sack, it's the offensive line. No, that's absolutely not the case. You know, and so that's not a valid statement.
Are the majority of lost yardage plays, though, where you guys suffer a tackle for loss, whether it be a sack or anything else, are the majority of them attributed to an offensive line, just in general?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No. What happens is you can be in an option play. Okay, in an option play, there's a read key involved. Okay, you can be in a man scheme, for example, and there's a read that has to be made whether you're inside or outside. That can happen. So it's all of the above. And then, are there offensive line mistakes? Yeah, there are. I mean, that happens too. So it's not one way or the other. Absolutely not.
Part of the thing that Urban said the last LSU and Alabama specifically is they were blitzing a lot. Those defenses were blitzing you, and the offensive line's got to get a little bit better at dealing with those. What have you seen on film about how they're dealing with it and what they need to improve going down the road?
Well, I mean, I think you can always improve. You know, we had a couple of pick stunts that picked the offensive line. I think we just got to improve overall in our protection as a group. When you're getting a lot of pressure, you know, when you get down a lot of pressure like that, and you're throwing the ball in 3rd down and long scenarios, they're pinning their ears back. There's no threat of run, and so that's why the percentages overall for anybody are low in 3rd and long in terms of completions percentages. You know, in terms of conversion percentages, because it's not an advantage offense down and distance scenario. So that's where that's at.